I know some of you guys are asking the question posted on the comments there about Israel and the 1967 borders. No, this is sanctions that the EU is levying on Israel as regarding to the 1949, or Israel being a state in 1948, and when the borders were set for Israel in 1949 as Israel as a nation. This is what the EU is pressuring Israel on economically to try to force them back in a two-state solution. And we know that it will become a two-state situation here because God said that He would punish this world for dividing His land. So it's inevitable to happen, but nonetheless, there's got to be a voice against what these nations are doing. And I know many of you out there and many other in the world are also crying out against the evils against Israel. And I really can't wait till tonight when I produce this video for you about the Maccabees, and more specifically the story of Hannah. Many of you may not know this unless you've read the book of Maccabees before, but Hannah, who was a mother that had 7 sons that were of Israel, endured seeing her children put to death at the evil king of Antioch there, who put her children to death. And at the very last son, the 7th son, who was only a little boy, and I don't know his actual age, maybe 5, 6, I'm just guesstimating here, when he was killed as well, because they refused to eat pork, and they would not bow to the image that Antioch had set before. The king takes with this little boy and begs him to just bow before the idol. What's the big deal about it? And that little boy is a representation of Israel that is in her homeland today. And Antioch is the Vatican that is making this covenant with Israel, that's trying to get Israel to bow to their false theology, their false gods. And Hannah, I was going to say Hannah in Hebrew because it's Hannah in Hebrew. Hannah is a representation of the bride of Yeshua down through the ages that stood with Israel. Regardless of what people think of their theology, they stand with Israel. And she stood with them. And if you'll notice, right there at the very last moment, she cries out to God and says, "Let me be with my sons." And she dropped dead without being tortured or anything. But her sons, their hands and their feet were cut off. Why? You don't realize it. I know it's going to be hard for my own people to accept this, but it was because of Yeshua. His hands and his feet were pierced. God took this story from the Maccabees, and He was prophetically looking at the 7 church ages, and that how that Israel as a nation would be persecuted down through the ages, but how that there would be a bride there that will stand for the children of Israel. You have no idea the things that God is doing and the things that He's showing. And this is why I sit there and I say, I challenge every nation, bring yourself, get your armies together, come down to Israel, the God of heaven, Hashem, Yahweh, He will stand for us. Yes, there will be many Jews that will die when the war begins, but this will be when God stands up, when the bride is willing to say, I would rather die with them. You know, it's just like Lori Cardozo Moore. I often think of her when I think of this, because she even said, I was with her one day when she said, the Christians should be willing to throw themselves between Israel and this anti-Semitism that's going on. And that's what true Christians are willing to do. And that's what will move the heart of God, the very heart of Yeshua, which will cause Him to rise up out of His holy habitation. Is when the true Christian of today, when they see Israel compassed about with the armies, when they see them to begin to be killed and slaughtered once again, and she's willing to go and be with her, that's when it'll move the heart of God. That will be your Gog and Magog. And as Rabbi Winston says, does it take a Gog and Magog to wake us up? Unfortunately, yes it does. But it's what will cause God to come on the scene. My good friend Gershon Solomon, he knows as well. This will bring the very salvation to Israel. God bless you.